Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now let's discuss about a certain boy reporter who came from one of the most interesting European comics of all time, Tintin. Tintin's comics were created by Belgian cartoonist Georges Remy, who wrote under the pen name of Herge. The series is one of the most popular European comics of the 20th century. By 2007, a century after Herge's death in 1907, Tintin had been published in more than 70 languages with sales of more than 200 million copies. And it had been adapted for radio, television, theater, and film. Set during the 20th century, the hero of the series is Tintin, a courageous young Belgian reporter and adventurer who is aided by his faithful dog Snowy. Other protagonists include the brash and cynical Captain Haddock and the intelligent but hearing-impaired Professor Calculus, as well as the incompetent detectives Thompson and Thompson. The series has been admired for its clean, expressive drawings in Herge's signature ligne claire or clear line style. Its well-researched plots straddle a variety of genres, like swashbuckling adventures with elements of fantasy, action, mysteries, political thrillers, and science fiction. The stories feature slapstick humor offset by dashes of sophisticated satire and political or cultural commentary. Now, I think I was introduced to Tintin when I came across one of the comics when I was very young, pretty much during my kindercare age. And in case you're wondering, I have yet to watch the Tintin animated series from the 90s, because I've been hearing it's a great show. However, the Tintin movie I'll be looking at today is a motion capture movie that was put together by two of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and of course, it is considered by many to be not only underrated, but also the best animated film of 2011. So, released on December 21st, 2011, the movie is The Adventures of Tintin. So, let's get started. Having bought a model ship, the Unicorn, for £1 off a market stall, Tintin is initially puzzled that the sinister Mr. Sakharine should be so eager to buy it from him, resorting to murder and kidnapping Tintin. While Tintin is on a cargo ship bound to Morocco, accompanied by his marvelous dog Snowy, Sakharine has bribed the crew to revolt against the ship's master, drunken Captain Haddock. But Tintin, Snowy, and Haddock escape, arriving in Morocco at the court of the Sheik, who also has a model of the Unicorn, and hopes to retrieve it in order to solve a century-old mystery before Sakharine does. So, what are my thoughts on the movie? Well, what else can I say except best animated film of 2011? Yep, I love it. But to further explain why I love this film, let's move on to Mustang Notes. The film is inspired by three of Herge's albums: The Crab of the Golden Claws from 1941, The Secret of the Unicorn from 1943, and Red Rackham's Treasure in 1944. It's also, believe it or not, the first animated film Steven Spielberg has ever directed. Spielberg acquired the film rights following Herge's death in 1983 and reoptioned them in 2002. Filming was due to begin in October 2008 for a 2010 release, but the release was delayed to 2011 after Universal Studios opted out of producing the film with Paramount Pictures, who provided $30 million on pre-production. Sony Pictures also chose to co-finance the film along with Nickelodeon Studios. Crazy, huh? The Adventures of Tintin became a commercial success, having grossed over $373 million against a budget of $135 million, and received mostly positive reviews from critics. who compared the movie to Spielberg's previous works like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was also the first motion capture animated film, as well as the first non-Pixar animated film to win the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, even though I did enjoy most of the films released by Image Movers Digital, like Monster House, Beowulf, The Polar Express, and Christmas Carol, this movie is a major improvement over this Martian travesty that blew up the studio. Anyway, the motion capture animation for Tintin was done by Weta Digital. Yep, the studio who worked on such films like Avatar, the 2005 King Kong remake, and of course, the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films. I'm serious, folks. If you watch this movie yourself, you'll notice that the movements are very realistic, the character designs are very reminiscent to Herge's illustrations while still looking like real humans, and, most important of all, everyone's eyes are not dead and soulless. Plus, this movie is so good that it could easily trick you into thinking that you're watching a live-action film. Also, some of my favorite scenes in the movie are not only the action and stunts, but also the flashbacks between Haddock and Sakharin's ancestors during a sea battle. And now, let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Our hero Tintin was originally going to be played by Thomas Sangster, but he dropped out when filming was delayed on October 2008. So, the role was instead given to British actor Jamie Bell. Best known from the 2005 King Kong remake, as well as films like Jumper and Billy Elliot. And he'll be playing Bernie Taupin in the upcoming Rocket Man movie next month. To me, Tintin is very smart, and he's also very skilled with several vehicles, as well as Morse code, and he can pack a solid punch to a villain's jaw when necessary. Plus, Tintin is a capable engineer and scientist, and a skilled athlete, and an effective diplomat. Plus, I think Jamie Bell's performance was really fantastic. I mean, yeah, he's British and the character is supposed to be Belgian, but at least they didn't get an American actor to voice him. Then we have Tintin's dog, Snowy. Now, I find it pretty interesting that Snowy is the only character in the movie who's animated traditionally without motion capture. But still, I do like Snowy due to him being a very smart and loyal dog. Next we have Tintin's companion, the lovable drunk Captain Archibald Haddock, played by the great Andy Serkis. Best known for his roles as Gollum from Lord of the Rings trilogies and Hobbit trilogies, King Kong from the 2005 remake, Caesar from the Planet of the Apes trilogy, and he played Baloo and directed the Netflix movie Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle Book. Fun fact, Andy Serkis researched seamen and gave Haddock a Scottish accent as he felt that the character had a rawness and an emotional availability, a more Celtic kind of feel. Anyway, to me, Haddock is my favorite character in the movie next to Snowy, and I like that he's a sea captain who's, well, always drunk and barely sober, who either gets Tintin into scrapes or gets him out of them. Plus, his role in the movie is a very important one. Next we have the villain, Ivan Saccharin, played by the current James Bond, Daniel Craig. Saccharin is the descendant of Red Rackham, the pirate who attacked Sir Francis Haddock's ship, the Unicorn. Steven Spielberg described Saccharin as a champagne villain, a man who's cruel when he has to be, but with a certain elegance to him. Anyway, to me, Saccharin is a classic bad guy, who's very scheming, intelligent, and well-trained with a sword. However, he wasn't really a villain in the Herge comics, but I think it's very well done how they fit him into the movie as one, and it makes you believe the rivalry between him and Haddock. Finally, we have the bumbling police inspectors, Thompson and Thompson, played by Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. The duo was invited out of necessity to have a comedy team that could act identical. Now, there's not much to say about these guys except for the fact that they're the funniest characters in the movie and they're exactly like their comic book counterparts. And now for my final words. Overall, The Adventures of Tintin is a phenomenal movie. It brings back memories of Steven Spielberg's past films and reinvents it for a whole new generation. Not to mention that it does justice to the original Herge comics, but has a few minor changes that I don't think that many people would mind at all. Also, John Williams' score is absolutely spectacular and one of the best he's ever done. Also, for many years, I've been hearing rumors of some upcoming Tintin sequels coming in the future, but at the moment, it was said by Steven Spielberg that the script has yet to be written. Still, I'm praying that Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson will make those sequels happen soon. As for my rating, I give this film the highest rating of 100%. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Be sure to tune in again for my next vlog. Mustang Power.